AEW announces major change to the Continental Classic format. Plus, we got the results from this week's edition of AEW Dynamite. Chris Jericho retains the Ring of Honor World Championship against Tomohiro Ishii. John Cena is advertised for Elimination Chamber, his last time ever in Toronto as an active WWE superstar. Camille tells Mercedes Moné she quits last night on Dynamite. Max Caster interrupts Swerve Strickland backstage as his heel turn continues to be teased. A major title match has been confirmed for Dynamite. Winter is coming. More details and possible plans for Big E on this coming Monday's edition of Raw, celebrating 10 years of the New Day in WWE. Jamie Hayter advances in the International Women's Cup qualifier for Wrestle Dynasty. More details on Big Boom AJ's future with All Elite Wrestling. Plus, the Hardys have re-signed with TNA Wrestling. We've got more details on the contracts that they've signed. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's begin with the Continental Classic and some changes to the format for this year's tournament. Now, this year's Continental Classic kicked off during AEW Dynamite with a slight deviation from last year's format. The 2023 tournament saw the inauguration of the AEW Continental Championship, with competitors qualifying from the round-robin stage seeded for semi-final bouts during AEW Dynamite New Year Smash, and those winners, Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley, going on to fight for the title in the World's End pay-per-view. Kazuchika Okada will be going into this tournament as the reigning champion, and he may have a steeper task ahead to retain his title, as it was announced that this year both the semi-finals and final will be fought during the World's End event on December 28. Okada is entering the Continental Classic in the Blue League alongside Shelton Benjamin, Kyle Fletcher, the Beast Mortos, Daniel Garcia and Mark Briscoe, with Benjamin and Briscoe kicking off the tournament on Dynamite. On the other side, the Gold League is comprised of Will Ospreay, Ricochet, Juice Robinson, Brody King, Claudio Castagnoli and Darby Allin. King and Allen and Castagnoli and Ricochet also took place last night on Dynamite. Speaking of which, let's get straight into the results for the first matches of this year's Continental Classic tournament, beginning with Shelton Benjamin coming out victorious. Now, the Continental Classic has arrived for the second time in AEW's history, with 12 participants eager to fight for the grand prize, the AEW Continental Championship. On the special Thanksgiving Eve edition of AEW Dynamite, the Continental Classic kicked off in spectacular fashion, with Shelton Benjamin picking up 3 points against Mark Briscoe. As I mentioned, the night opened with Benjamin and Briscoe fighting in the Blue League. The two men had an evenly paced match, with Briscoe standing resilient against Benjamin's heavy-handed assault. At one point, Briscoe seemed to have injured his ribs following an elbow drop to Benjamin, but any injury concerns were quickly put away when Briscoe followed up the daring move with another elbow drop to the outside. Briscoe then survived a series of incredible suplexes from Benjamin, but a kick to the head left Briscoe vulnerable. Benjamin secured the victory and his 3 points following a belly-to-back suplex. The next match was the first match from the Gold League. Castagnoli and Ricochet's fight in the Gold League marked the midway point of the show. Ricochet, coming off a devastating loss against Konosuke Takeshita at Full Gear, threw countless high-flying moves at Castagnoli, only to be intercepted by the Death Rider's strongman. After a failed submission attempt by Castagnoli sought the count-out victory against Ricochet, but Ricochet barely beat the count to keep the match alive. At his wit's end, Castagnoli leveled the recent AEW signing with a lariat, and 3 points were added to the Swiss Talent scorecard, with a slightly surprising result there, with Castagnoli picking up the victory. And a second match from the Gold League closed out AEW Dynamite last night with a bit of a surprising result for some, because Darby Allin and Brody King faced off. Now, Darby Allin and Brody King's match for the Gold League closed out the evening. The two wasted no expense in the name of violence, to the point where the commentary team's audio was taken out during a brawl between the two. Darby nearly won the match via countout after taking out King with 2 coffin drops on the outside of the ring, but King slid back into the ring just before the countout. Darby Allin attempted to land a 3rd coffin drop for the victory, but King ultimately caught Darby into a hold, which King transitioned into a gonzo bomb for the victory. After the match, Castagnoli appeared to stare down King, steel chair in hand. Brody and Castagnoli will collide in a Continental Classic match on the upcoming December 4 edition of AEW Dynamite. So, Again, while it's still points-based of a round-robin tournament, the Continental Classic, as I mentioned, has been revised with the semi-finals and finals taking place at the World's End pay-per-view. Chris Jericho is still the Ring of Honor World Champion. The 9th world title reign of Chris Jericho will continue to Ring of Honor Final Battle. Jericho went blow for blow with the former never openweight champion Tomohiro Ishii and leveled the Stone Pitbull with a Judas effect to retain the title on Dynamite. Jericho had plenty of moral and physical support from Big Bill and Brian Keith, which played a part in helping Jericho defeat Ishii despite pouring blood from his mouth due to Ishii's punishment. Jericho has been the Ring of Honor World Champion since October 23rd, when he dethroned Mark Briscoe in a ladder match on AEW Dynamite, once again with help from Big Bill and Brian Keith. His 9th world title of his career, it is Jericho's second reign with the Ring of Honor World Championship specifically, as Jericho held the title in late 2022. As of right now, it's not clear who Jericho's opponent will be on December 20th when Ring of Honor comes to the Hammerstein Ballroom for Final Battle. It will be the 8th Final Battle to take place in the Hammerstein Ballroom. If we get any more details on who his opponent is going to be, of course, we'll let you know in an upcoming video. Now, John Cena, his final year as an active in-ring WWE superstar continues to take shape. The wrestling world is preparing to spend 2025 saying farewell to former WWE champion John Cena, who announced his retirement tour earlier this year. Earlier this month, we learned that Cena would compete in his last ever Royal Rumble match in February, and we now know he will also appear at another major WWE premium live event. In announcing the registration for pre-sale tickets, WWE also announced that the upcoming WWE Elimination Chamber event will be John Cena's final wrestling appearance in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. WWE will be holding the event in the famous Rogers Centre, formerly known as the Sky Dome. They announced the return to Rogers Centre earlier this month. WWE's last Toronto Premium Live event was Money in the Bank in the nearby Scotiabank Arena, which is where Cena announced his retirement tour in the first place. As of right now, there's no word on what Cena will be doing at Elimination Chamber. Cena's retirement tour is set to begin in December and run all the way until next December of 2025, giving him a chance to compete in his last Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series events. Cena will not be omnipresent during the entire tour, said to be only working 36 dates over the course of the year. Cena's former co-worker Chris Jericho says he doesn't believe Cena will compete anywhere else after his time in WWE. Of course, Cena isn't the only 21st century legend who is retiring soon, as former IWGP heavyweight champion Hiroshi Tanahashi is also set to begin a retirement tour in 2025. Some have speculated maybe could we see a match or an involvement between the two. It seems unlikely, but one thing's for certain with this announcement, Cena will be competing for the last time in Toronto at Elimination Chamber. Now, going back to AEW Dynamite last night, we saw the split that many people had expected, maybe not so soon, of Camille and Mercedes Moné. Now, last night's Dynamite featured a segment with Tony Schiavone interviewing Mercedes Moné on the stage after Moné's victory against Chris Statlander to retain the TBS Championship at Full Gear. During the interview, Moné, as she's done multiple times over the past few weeks, took a shot at Camille's contributions in her corner. As Moné was about to fire her, Camille interrupted, saying, quote, "Are you stupid or are you dumb? You can't fire me because I quit." At the end of the segment, Camille would leave, and Mercedes was visibly and audibly outraged. Now, if we get any more details as to future plans and what this could mean moving forward for both of them, we'll let you know in future videos. Now, Max Caster, we've seen a heel turn teased for him in the last few weeks, haven't we? A few weeks ago, MVP handed out a Hurt Syndicate business card to the Acclaimed, interested in bringing them into the faction. Anthony Bowen seemed very much against the idea, but Max Caster seemed to be open to it. Since then, Caster has held onto the card and had notable tensions with Bowens. That included this past Saturday at the Full Gear pay-per-view during Caster's rap, as he ended with "Everyone loves the best wrestler alive" instead of the usual "Everybody loves the Acclaimed." Last night on Dynamite, Caster continued his move to being a heel as he interrupted Swerve Strickland in a backstage interview. Of course, Strickland was coming off the back of a loss to the Hurt Syndicate's Bobby Lashley at Full Gear, and he didn't take too kindly to Caster's antics. Do you think we could see Max Caster as part of the Hurt Syndicate in the future? Let me know your thoughts about that one as well. A big title match has been confirmed for Winter is Coming. In an interview segment on last night's Dynamite, Mina Shirakawa spoke to Renee Paquette about Mariah May betraying her at Full Gear, while in the segment, the betrayed Mina vowed to get her revenge on her former friend Mariah May. Instead, she was attacked from behind. Mariah May burst onto the scene, attacking Mina with the AEW Women's World Championship belt and setting up a match between the two in 2 weeks on Dynamite. Mina Shirakawa will challenge Mariah May for the Women's World Championship at the Winter is Coming edition of Dynamite in 2 weeks' time, that being on December 11th. So that match is now confirmed. Now, the New Day. Are they going to be finished, or are they going to be stronger than ever this coming Monday on Raw? Now, WWE announced that next week's episode of Monday Night Raw will feature the 10-year anniversary celebration of the New Day amid the group's ongoing tension on the show. On this week's edition of the Red Brand, tensions came to a head between Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, with the two having a heated argument backstage following their defeat to Alpha Academy on the show. Though Big E has not been announced for a segment next week, many have speculated that he will end up being a part of the show. In an update from WrestleVotes, there have reportedly been multiple ideas presented for an appearance from Big E on the show. They tweeted out, quote, "Amidst the speculation, we're told multiple ideas have been presented for a Big E appearance this Monday on Raw to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the New Day. We'll see what WWE has in store for the group as a whole as we approach Monday." Now, Jamie Hayter has advanced in the tournament to be AEW's representative in the International Women's Cup at Wrestle Dynasty. Now, Jamie Hayter is one step closer to the International Women's Cup final at Wrestle Dynasty, emanating from the Tokyo Dome in January. Hayter defeated Queen Aminata on AEW Dynamite, pinning Aminata after hitting the Haterade. Following the match, Julia Hart's return was teased with a spotlight on the stage. Hart has been tormenting Hayter in video vignettes prior to her return to the company for weeks. Hayter moves on to face either Serena Deeb or Willow Nightingale, who will face off on December 7th when AEW takes over GalaxyCon in Columbus, Ohio. The finals of the tournament will take place on AEW Collision Winter is Coming. Now, the winners of matches and tournaments from AEW, CMLL, Ring of Honor, and Stardom will compete at the final on January 5th at the legendary venue in Japan. The winner of the International Women's Cup will get a championship opportunity at any of the 4 promotions. Ring of Honor's participants include Athena, Red Velvet, Billy Starks, and Layla Hirsch. Now, Big Boom AJ, just what is his future in AEW? Well, he has said he's all elite. He has said that he will be wrestling again, and we got some more details than that. Now, ironically enough, one of the more anticipated matches, or at least spoken about matches for Full Gear, took place on the 0-hour pre-show prior to the actual pay-per-view, when Big Boom AJ of the Costco guys took on QT Marshall. AJ, along with Big Justice and the Rizzler, ended up getting a big reaction from the crowd, with his performance in the match going over well with both fans and the company. The match was even more impressive when it was revealed after the show that AJ had wrestled the match with a broken foot, with AJ also saying he plans to compete for AEW again. In an update from Fightful Select, when asked if the appearance from the Costco guys was a one-off, Fightful was told there are tentative plans for them to work together again. Everyone was said to be very happy with how it came off, and AJ working the match through an injury impressed a lot of people. And finally, we spoke yesterday about the Hardy Boys re-signing with TNA Wrestling, and we've now got more details on just what their contracts may look like. Now, the Hardy Boys are TNA World Tag Team Champions again, but they weren't locked down until they signed a new deal this week. Matt and Jeff Hardy have had a successful run with TNA Wrestling so far and became Tag Team Champions at TNA Bound for Glory. Matt Hardy rejoined the company in May, and Jeff followed shortly after when his AEW contract expired. On November 27th, TNA signed the duo to what Fightful Select's Sean Ross Sapp can confirm are 1-year deals. Matt Hardy originally came in for a defined number of dates, but decided to stay when his brother joined. Despite becoming TNA World Tag Team Champions, they weren't under a contract until recently. However, they've agreed to continue working with TNA and can work independent pro wrestling dates as well. Just last year, ahead of a regime change, TNA had insisted on many talent being under contract to be used, which has adjusted since. So the confirmation is, according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, they are under 1-year contracts. But there you go, guys. The latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Happy Thanksgiving to those celebrating in the United States, and we'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.